This is going to sound like so much hate, and I swear it's not. Welcome back to your standard edition of the Wednesday Warner Brothas Podcast. I'm Kyle, joined today by my brother Keenan, joined today by my boy Tim Gray, Timmy G. What's up, fellas? Glad to be back.
Glad to be back as well. Last Wednesday was a little different. We ended up doing that as a hype reel. That was a fun time doing that there when I was in Vermont. But everywhere we're doing good. Doing really good.
Might be joined by
Tim,
B. Petty in just a couple minutes here. We don't know.
He might just be. He's being held hostage by his work. He doesn't really know when he's coming, but I think he will eventually join us. As he did a couple weeks ago. He joined us mid-pod.
Yeah, and this is little foreshadow. We had a tiers. We're gonna have something similar to it a little later on, which was actually why we hopped in, because he had to hop in halfway through the tier. So interesting enough, he likes to do this. He likes to do this when we're starting to when we're putting rankings and things in together. But Kyle had a place where you wanted to start. Kyle, what do you want to talk about real quick?
I just want to say, I mean, that was a soft sell. Like, we had a great episode last Wednesday with Is the Hype Real podcast. And on top of that, shouts to those guys. Shouts to Ray. Shouts to John B.
100%.
Keenan debuted his week 10 at that point. QB tiers. We're getting those later today. I can't wait. I'm fired up for the tiers because I had so much to say during that episode, and that actually turned into a Keenan versus John B debate. Go check that out on YouTube on Is the Hype Real podcast. Their YouTube page. Go check that out, please. And I had so much more to say, and I can't wait to join in today and debate these QBs because I had so much to say. I do briefly want to start. We don't even have to spend too much time on it, but it was just, it came and it went, and it was, I don't know if I would call it seismic, but Nico Harrison got fired yesterday, and it was bizarre to me. Not because, I mean, he should have got fired the minute he brought that trade to send Luka to the Lakers. He should have been fired the moment he brought that up to ownership. So this is less to me about Nico Harrison and more about ownership. Because after he gets fired, you hear, oh, maybe they're talking about trading Anthony Davis and trading Kyrie Irving. Like, shouldn't y'all have been on like the same page about that in the offseason if you didn't want these vets? If you like, it almost seems like the Mavs ownership is running this like a football team. Like, we're in the first 3 weeks of the season. So much can happen. Matter of fact, the year the Mavericks made it to the finals, I think at one point they were a 10 seed and then flipped it around at the All-Star break, made some trades.
And then the year after they were a top 3 seed and then they missed the playoffs. Or sorry, the year before that. Yeah. Remember, they were a top 3 seed. They get Kyrie and then they missed the playoffs entirely.
So, I mean, and we kind of heard this after the trade, like when Nico was making the whole like defense win championships thing. Ownership said, like, we need players who are night to night and in shape. And he started naming like early 2000s players. And he mentioned Shaq, who was like never in shape. So like, you can just tell the ownership has no idea what they're doing. But for them to fire Nico and like blame the start on Nico Harrison when Kyrie's not even there, it just shows you what Cooper Flagg is going to have to deal with in the coming years as he reaches his prime, or if he's approaching his prime. And just on his rookie contract, the ownership has no idea, clearly. And we knew that, again, when Nico was given the okay on this trade. This trade should have never happened in February. Again, he should have been fired when he brought it to ownership. So I want to know your guys' reaction. Keenan, obviously you're a huge basketball fan. Tim, as an in and out basketball fan, I want to know what your guys' reaction to
Tim. I'm gonna have you start, Tim, and then I'll go from there.
Honestly, I don't have too much to say because I'm not too tied into basketball. When I heard the trade break last year or whatever, I immediately thought, like, what the fuck? Why is this man still employed? This man gets paid millions of dollars to potentially ruin a franchise when you trade away a franchise changing player like that. Did you guys see the video of the kid talking to the owner? Because that sparked a lot of debate now, saying like he potentially influenced the firing somehow. supposedly this kid like flipped off the owner, and they're season ticket holders. So his dad told him the only way he's going back to a game is if he apologizes to the owner. So he asked security if he could go over there and apologize. He was wearing a Luka Lakers jersey. And then the next day, Nico Harrison is fired at 10 a.m. in the morning or whatever. I agree with Kyle. I think it's early. They're 2-8 or something, and they're like, "Yep, that's enough to call it for the whole season."
Which would be fine in football.
Yeah, exactly. Like, sure, but we are literally 10% into the season, and you're firing your GM. That's not going to be a good situation going forward. You're going to have interim problems, all that stuff. So, yeah, I don't have too much to add on it, though.
I'm going to quickly add on the standings portion of it, and then I want to talk more about the actual whole saga of Luka. But like right now, they're 3-8. The Jazz are the 10 seed in the West at 4-7. Like the Suns are the 7th at 6-5, and the Timberwolves are the 6th and at 7-4. So I say that just to say, like, obviously we've played 1/8 of the season, 12% of the season's over. Like there's so much time left. And you have teams
and they've
ahead
got an
of you,
actual
like,
good roster.
they have a roster that's better than the Jazz, that's better than the Blazers, that's better than Phoenix, which are all three teams that are ahead of them that they easily could reach. So I understand that the season hasn't been great to the start, and offensively they haven't been playing good basketball. Defensively, they've been a top 3 team. Offensively, they're like one of the 3 worst teams in the league. So obviously, Cooper Flagg's still getting his bearings. He's shown flashes of what he really can do, but also he hasn't been like instantly came into the league and like lit it on fire. But I mean, again, it's really difficult to do. But regardless, anyways, moving forward from the Mavericks itself, back to the trade, it's like what he traded Anthony Davis, or he traded Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first-round pick. And when that happened, obviously we all were like, this trade was one of the most ridiculous trades we've ever seen in our entire lives, and haven't seen something that's crazy since Babe Ruth. So, like, we were not alive and World War I was going on. Like, when this last time we saw something this crazy, it was World War I time. And the only way that this trade would have been successful is if the Mavericks win a championship with the regime that they had with Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, and Luka never wins one. That's the only way because even if Luka wins one, now you're like, okay, you've just said you're short term and you're giving away a long term future. Luka would have to never win one. And now Luka this year is lean and playing like a man possessed, as we expected, because he's, Luka Doncic. And Anthony Davis has played, I think, 14 of the 44 games that he could in a Mavericks uniform, looking overweight. I saw a post today that was like, the Lakers have a gym, the Mavericks have a grill, because they showed a picture of fat Luka and fat Anthony Davis, and then ripped Luka and ripped Anthony Davis, which made me laugh today because I was like, AD has put on some weight, eating good down in Texas. So, but just, it's inexcusable. You should get fired for the thought of it. There's no reason why you trade one of the 3, 4, 5 best players in the league who is in the heart or beginning the heart of their prime for a guy who is old and aging to say, hey, we care about defense. And even if you're going to trade Luka, again, just wait for the offseason. When there was Giannis murmur, hey, 1-for-1 Giannis for Luka. We can sign off on that. We all would be like, you know what? Would I have done it? Maybe, maybe not. You got more years. But people could be like, yeah, Giannis, we can sign off on Giannis, and that's defense. That's your defensive model. So you don't need to trade a player like Luka Doncic at the trade deadline. It's not like you were pressing for like he was going to be a free agent in the offseason. It's a completely ridiculous move. And as Dallas went through a Micah trade, went through a Luka trade, this might be the first thing that they've felt in the last 10 months that's been like, oh, wow, great, outside of Paige Beckers being drafted to the Dallas Wings. Like, that might be the one thing. And obviously, it's not major Dallas basketball, but, like, outside of that, And Cooper Flagg. And you're right. And Cooper, they got Cooper Flagg and Paige Beckers. Those are the two stars at Dallas now. Because they said, hey, let's get Mike out of there. Let's get Luke out of there. It's just insane. And this is bound to happen. This is bound to happen. And now it's a fire sale for the whole team. And I feel bad. Or you're right, Kyle, what you said. I feel bad for Cooper Flagg. Like,
yeah, because you know what? The thing about it, as terrible as the trade was, if you include and they get Cooper Flagg out of it, Austin Reeves, especially, he should have absolutely, like any normal GM gets Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves and like every pick possible. But the fact that it's like Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and the number 1 pick next year, Cooper Flagg, who's like some would consider generational, you're like, okay, you can kind of talk yourself into that. And you got vets around him. We weren't expecting Kyrie back until possibly the spring. So for ownership to just fire Nico like this, like, again, several months after it should have happened,
just
gross incompetence on ownership. Because, man, at least see this through. Sense. This could have at least been a playoff team. As stupid as that Luka trade was, as much as we all hate it, this could have at least been a playoff team. Like, the makings were there. We all kind of looked at this team like, that's something in the preseason. So, yeah, it's just a weird situation all around. And Luka's going to thrive in however many brings.
I'm going to mention something very, like, off topic, but still in the topic of sports. Obviously, I'm a huge women's basketball guy. Hannah Hildago is one of my favorite players in all of college basketball. She has been since she came in as a freshman to Notre Dame. She is one of the 3 best players, her, Lauren Betts, a couple others. Anyways, doesn't make a difference of what she is. Guess how many steals she had tonight against Akron?
Let's say 16.
22.
Kyle, did you know it actually was 16? It was broke the record for the most steals. That's 16.
I remember you mentioning her last year, like averaging like 3 or 4 steals a game. Like it was pretty routine for her to get a high number of steals. And normally I would guess 8 in that situation, but I figured it's college, it's early on, they're probably playing a scrub team. So I figured something ridiculous.
She she had 44 in 28 minutes. She had 44, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 16 steals in 28 minutes.
That's prime quadruple double territory if you get 16 steals.
She has 16.
I'd almost try to start padding my stats if I had 16 steals.
She should have at least got one more rebound to get a triple double with steals. But my God, she as a freshman, she averaged 4.6 last year, 3.7 this year so far in the season, 3.5. That's going to jump up to about 8 a game, and obviously because it's inflated after only 3 games. But I only needed to mention shout out to Hannah Hildago. I'm excited for women's college basketball. Unfortunately, we don't have Juju this year, but we've got so many stars, and it's going to be great to watch. But anyways, Nico Harrison fired because he's not good and made one of the worst decisions I've ever seen in my entire life. Well, the worst decision I've ever seen in my entire life for a sports organization. And yeah, and then Hannah Hildago's a monster. We don't want to talk about anything else, or we want to get into NFL?
Only thing I would say is I think Nico Harrison's an idiot for sure, but I can't call him all the way bad at GM because he made great moves the prior trade deadline to get him into the finals.
Oh yeah, no, he made the worst GM move I've ever seen in my entire life.
For sure. Like it's just crazy because before that, like he kind of looked like a genius because they got propelled to the finals in a year where you didn't necessarily think they'd make the finals. And then the next year, he's like, let me undo all that.
All of that and then some. And good, just for note, you're able to accept what I'm about to say if you have Luka and you're building towards more and more chips every year. In 2030, their pick goes to San Antonio. In 2029, their pick goes to Houston. And in 2028, their pick goes to Oklahoma City. They have their pick this year, and then next year, I believe it's a swap as well. I don't think after this year they have their first-round pick until 2031. And they give their picks to Houston, Oklahoma City, and San Antonio.
3 of the better teams. Woohoo.
Yeah, and and though that's fine when you're giving the
26th,
27th, 29th. It's fine when you're giving those picks. It's not fine when this team might be
lottery,
not even in next year, and you're giving Oklahoma City a lottery pick. You're giving Houston maybe a lottery pick, and then you're giving Wemby and the Spurs maybe a lottery pick. Like, that just doesn't work anymore. Obviously, you've got Cooper Flagg, so like by that point, you hope you're out of it. But obviously, the West is loaded, and you don't know what those rosters are going to materialize into. You don't even know what Cooper Flagg's going to be. You assume, but you don't know. What I did know was that Luka was really good. I watched that with my own eyes. I watched him have more All-NBA first teams than Steph Curry already in his career. I watched. He's pretty good. He's a pretty good ball player. Good ball player.
There's no guard in Luka Doncic.
No, he's averaging a smooth, cool 37, 9, and 9 this year. Just bored. As bored as he could be. 37 in 37 minutes. But
had him. Well, could have just had him for eternity, Dallas.
Could have had him
until the end of time.
Or could have traded him for, I don't know, Giannis or someone like that. Maybe could have gotten a guy like that. I don't know. Anyways, Warner Brothas Podcast. It is week 11. It's a little later than when I typically do them, but we have QB tiers and they are here. So I do want to say, Kyle, I have made a few changes to them because the conversation last time did spark a couple things in and you were right about one thing. When I do these tiers, I always do these tiers as a kind of where I would have the quarterbacks in line with this year, but also kind of where I'd be having them overall. And you brought up a point of making it more of an overall, like, Keenan, the season is the season, kind of have more of an influence on it. So as I do have more of a season influence on it, as you'll see, it's not a full, like, it's still about what I do. So these quarterback tiers are a mixture of what the season has entailed, what I've seen thus far in the season, but it also has a mix in of a little bit of pedigree to where, like, you get certain players who are still higher up in ranks, even if they've had like a bad week or a bad couple weeks. I'm not going to say where he is, but like Lamar Jackson's still very high, though he has missed a large part of the season due to injury. But he has played well this season, and obviously we know it's Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP, 3-time All-Pro. So, without further ado, guys, do you want me to send this to the group chat so you can see the picture too along with it? Or would you guys like to just me read it off? That's up to you. I can do either or.
Real quick.
What's up?
I will be upset if this is very, very, I mean, I can't imagine it's extremely different, but what you had before was perfect for podcasting because there was so much I could debate. So I hope there's not too much movement because it was great fodder. And I'll say this, man. John was right about one QB in particular that, might play for our team. That's all I'll say. There's a few that in particular I'm like, I can't believe they're ranked this low. And I can't wait to see what you got now. I almost wish we'd be presented with the original list, but
I have the original list still. Like, this.
You know what, Keen? I actually got it too because you sent it to me last week. Why don't we present the new list, and then I can kind of compare and contrast as we go along if you'd like.
Okay. Would you, Timmy? Would you like me to send the list to the group chat so you can see it?
Sure. Can't hurt.
Okay. Well, I just basically just so
sure.
Basically just so you can have an understanding of.
If you don't, I will forget. So it's for.
Yeah, because I know it's always difficult because you can't see it on this screen. But all right. Tier 1. Maybe 7 games left. That is Spencer Rattler and Dylan Gabriel. They're 32 and 31. I am going in decelerating from 32 to 1 when I name these quarterbacks because I do, though they're in a tier, I do also have them ranked. So just for everybody to.
Is this Rattler / Shuck or is it just Rattler? I want to know where Shuck is in this.
So sorry, I should say Rattler / Shuck, Tyler Shuck. It's Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler there. You're right. I should have switched that, but it's the same thing. They're the same guy to me. But yeah,
Shuck
Spencer Rattler / Tyler Shuck. No, he didn't look terrible. And if you would say, hey, let me move him to 31, I would be like, okay. But I don't think he's great.
That's off of 2 games, we'll say.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And I'm not gonna. I've also, here's the thing too, Kyle. I have had another week of football to watch in like this tier.
That's why I almost dislike this list. But I haven't heard the rest, so I can't judge yet.
It's fine. You can, as I say, you can dislike it because there's a guy that was a little higher, but I watched one of the worst games I've ever seen in my entire life. And backup level starters is Marcus Mariota at 30, Justin Fields at 29, and Geno Smith at 28. Geno was up a little higher. He was 23 in that range. And this backup level starter. He's a backup level guy at this point in his career.
Gene
Smith. Starter.
Gene Smith.
Justin Fields the same way. They might have won, but he can't throw apparently. And then Marcus Mariota really is just like a backup guy who is starting at the moment, but backup level starter. Stop me at any point. I'm going to roll kind of through, and we can have open, obviously, dialogue about a lot of these positions, but stop me at any point when you have something, guys. Just interrupt.
I got something here. I think it would not shock me at all if Geno Smith and Justin Fields don't ever start again after this season in the NFL. It would not shock me at all. It wouldn't shock me if both those players got cut and never got signed again, even like as a backup role. That wouldn't surprise me either.
So to me,
as soon as I looked at this picture, I was like, you could put those guys in the maybe 7 games left here and be fine. That wouldn't.
And I wouldn't hate it either there too. But they're backup level starters, which means they're backup level quarterbacks who are playing the starting quarterback position.
Yep.
Like that's what that title means.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't even argue with you if you said maybe 7 games left, maybe 3 games left. Like it's been tough. Kept this one pretty much the same. You tell me. I've got Cam Ward at 27, McCarthy at 26, and Bryce Young at 25.
Yeah, originally Penix was in this tier, and I was like...
And he moved up a spot.
To me, not knowing what's ahead, I do think Penix deserves to be in the top 20. I think Penix, at the least, is a top 20 quarterback. I don't think there's 23 better quarterbacks than Michael Penix, necessarily. Like, let me give you one. We'll keep going. But
hold on. Give me just a second. There's something there. Michael Penix at 24, Jackson Dart at 23. Now talk.
Yeah, you could convince me of Penix. Penix should be ahead of Dart, I would say, even though Dart's flipped pretty good. But I would like if you flipped, let's just say Penix with Aaron Rodgers right now, who does not want to get hit at all, who just wants to throw slants, screens, and then the occasional deep ball. Would the Steelers not be better with Michael Penix? I actually don't I've said on here the Falcons are a different team on the road than at home. But Penix, out of all the young QBs, I think pretty consistent as far as like he's able to spread the ball around. He's able to go through his reads. He looks good in the pocket. He's turned Drake London into the Drake London we all thought he was going to be. You can't say that with Kirk Cousins. You can't say that with the Falcons of the past. Like Pitts has turned into somewhat of a weapon. I don't know. I actually like what I've seen out of Penix pretty consistently as he's been a starter. So that'd be my case for him.
Timmy, your thoughts?
I think I agree with Kyle. I don't know if I would have him above all the people in between him, but like I kind of put Penix in the same tier that I would put Tua and Trevor Lawrence in. Like it's not amazing, but it's like there is upside to him. You know, we've seen Penix have damn good games. We've also seen him have terrible games. And I feel like those 2 guys that I just named are identical to that. I don't know. I think I'm a little biased, but I can understand Dart being ahead of him. Dart, his rushing aspect is a big deal when it comes to scoring and changing the offense. So I would probably keep Dart ahead of him, but yeah, I think I would probably want Ugh, that's so tough. I don't want to move those two down, and I don't want to move Penix up that much, but I feel like they're very similar, those three.
I feel like you could put Penix and Dart on the same tier. But here's my thing. Like, I love the way Mac Jones has played. I don't want to get – actually, Keith, go ahead. Present the next tier.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, because you guys can see, obviously, and you guys will – I mean, people viewing this will be able to see the tiers as we go along with them as well. So they'll see it up. But so next we'll go starting level backups. It's Jacoby Brissett at 22, Joe Flacco at 21, and Mac Jones at 20. I think these guys have played well. I know Flacco obviously didn't play well with the Browns, and that's kind of like why he's still a backup. But I think these guys have all played very good quarterback for what you expect out of these guys this year. And if we saw all of these guys, Flacco obviously bearing his age, but if we saw all of these guys having to start 1 year as a bridge quarterback next year, none of us would look and be like, man, that's a terrible starting quarterback position job. We'd all look and be like, okay, we don't expect them to go to the Super Bowl, but that's competent quarterback play week in and week out.
All right, here's where I'll insert Penix into this team. So it's Flacco, Brissett. Originally, there was Geno in this tier, so it's Flacco, Brissett, Mac Jones. All right.
Yes, Geno was originally in this tier, and then yeah.
So I think Brissett should be like where Bryce Young is in that whole range. That's where I would have Brissett. I think Brissett's a more consistent backup than most, right? Flacco, let's do it like this. If you gave the Browns a choice of Michael Penix at the beginning of the year or Joe Flacco, I think they would take Michael Penix. And if you gave the Bengals right now the option of Michael Penix, I think they would take it right now, right? Like
I don't think they would take it over Joe Flacco right now. I don't think after you give him 33, 37, and 42 points, Joe Flacco's not the problem. I don't think they're taking Joe Flacco over Michael Penix. I think preseason the Browns would because you don't have this preseason, but like I don't think
Joe Flacco in that. That's Joe Flacco in that offense. That's not Joe Flacco with the Browns. Penix overall, I think if you put him with the Browns and Bengals, he probably succeeds pretty well with the Bengals with Jamar Chase and them around him. And he's more mobile than Flacco. Is he putting up the giant points? Maybe not, but I think you could still win with Penix is my point there. But that's a debate. I think Flacco has played well enough with the Bengals, like you said, to where that's a debate because he's
I don't think any personally right now, if you said at this moment in time, if we could start with Penix or the three quarterbacks I listed there, I think all three teams, the 49ers, the Bengals, and the Cardinals, would just start with what they have over Brissett and Flacco and Jones.
I don't think they're taking Brissett over.
Maybe
over
Brissett would be the only one, but absolute Mac Jones for sure, and Joe Flacco, I don't see why they would even. I don't see why.
I think Mac Jones is debatable, but here's the thing: I'd have Mac Jones ahead of all these guys. I'd have Mac Jones even in the top 17 possibly. I think Mac Jones has played well enough to probably earn himself a starting, if not a starting job next year, a QB competition at least.
Yeah.
And
no, I agree. So I think all of these guys.
I would have Mac and Penix in my top 20. That's really the only thing I would change.
Okay.
And then probably
Mac
have Dar
20
on the very. Yep, sure.
So just to reiterate for this portion of it, you'll be seeing this, but just to reiterate, Penix is at 24, Dart is at 23, Brissett is at 22, Flacco is at 21, and Mac Jones is at 20, split between two tiers. Let me know when you guys are ready to move to the next, or if you have more Penix thoughts.
Only thing I would say is move Dart and Penix up ahead of the tiers there, and get those guys in the top 20, and I'm with it. And then, but I have Mac ahead of some of the guys in your next tier if it's consistent with the one I have. So keep going.
It is mostly. So next is I actually got a name for this one this time, Kyle, because I forgot to change the name. I was debating on the name for that one the whole time, but this one's Flawed Talents. I think all these three quarterbacks that are in this tier are talented, but I think there's also some flaw to them. It's Tua at 19. It's Trevor Lawrence at 18. It's Bo Nix at 17.
Yeah, so you flipped a particular second-year quarterback with Bo Nix here. Originally, this was Caleb Williams in the last spot. And I think my big argument here last week when we did this, I think I'd flip Tua. I think I would put Tua in the Michael Penix spot. I think I'd put Tua in the Mac Jones spot or even further back. You know what I mean? Granted, he had a good game this past week, but going into this week, I would have had Tua for sure in the 20s. And I would have had Like, for instance, same question. I think Mike McDaniel would rather have Michael Penix right now than Tua Tagovailoa. I would always fuck up his name, even though I feel like I'm going to say it
Tua
right. But
Tagovailoa.
I don't know. I just think maybe I just see more in Penix than most, but I don't know. I think he's performed pretty well. He's had some inconsistent games, but he's also essentially a rookie. You know what I mean? So I would have Penix ahead of
Tua. And I mean, Penix has a stronger arm than Tua, but I think that I've seen higher highs from Tua. Penix has been just Penix is a guy. I think there's something there. Like, he could move up. I just don't think, like, I haven't seen a lot from him. You've seen flashes of some good games. He played well against the Commanders. He did play well against the Patriots as well. Like, he's played well in spots. I just think there's also been a lot of inconsistencies there as well. So to me, I think
as there should be though from a young QB. I think he's more 100%. Consistent. I think he's more consistent than even Bo Nix.
There's something there.
But shit, what was I going with this? Oh, Jags. They had Mac Jones last year. I'd rather have Mac Jones than T.Y. Get Trevor. I can't. I'm over Trevor Lawrence. Like, Trevor Lawrence, I was never a big fan, but like, it's official. Like, it's never happened with this dude. It's never happening with this dude. He might one day, like, I could see him eventually one day, everything falling in line, and he gets to an AFC Championship game, sure. But the Trevor Lawrence, like, we knew we were never getting that. But even as a consistent franchise level quarterback, I don't think we're getting that. I don't. So I wouldn't be mad at Trevor Lawrence dropping, because this dude struggles against the easiest of teams. So yeah, Trevor Lawrence, man.
Timmy, you go.
I don't know if I would take Mac over Trevor. I feel like they're both not great. Like, Mac has been playing well, but I'm pretty sure that if Mac gets another starting chance in a poor situation, it's going to go horribly wrong immediately, and we're going to be having the same conversation that we're having about Trevor, about Mac next year. Yeah, I do agree, though, that I think Penix needs to be right here with Tua and Trevor.
So I guess I just have him a little lower than you guys, but I get it, but I just have him a little bit lower. But the thing is, everybody from Bo Nix down, though they're going to be lot of them will be starting quarterbacks next year. None of them right now are confirmed franchise guys. You see guys like Penix and Dart, and you're like, maybe there's something. And then there's guys like J. McCarthy and Cam Ward, where it's like, you tell me how their career goes, and I could whatever. Like, but you don't know. But there's not like a definitive like that will be a franchise starter for years to come. Even Bo Nix at this point, like, he played well last year against bad teams. The good teams, the Broncos weren't really the greatest against. And then this year, it's been he played very well in that Giants fourth quarter, and then he played really well against Dallas. But everybody plays really well against Dallas, and so like he's had games where it's made you like percolate. Oh, okay, is Bo Nix, and then you just see other things with him too. So I was gonna say he fell a tier for me. And because there were certain things after the conference, and honestly, Kyle, some of this didn't even happen after just like like once I had a conversation and kind of talked through some of this, I looked and I was like, you know what? Maybe they have some points the same way you do with your tiers sometimes. Like, okay, maybe they have some points, and then sometimes it was like, and then Gino was like, yeah, I saw him play again. But there's a couple for a lot of the guys, like Caleb Williams wasn't because I saw him play again. Like the Caleb Williams Bo Nix wasn't because I saw him play again. And so it was actually more so the conversations we had. Not gonna lie to you.
It almost seems like Nix and Caleb Williams should be in their own tier, just because they're so confounding. Caleb Williams, against a bad defense, you know what you're getting from Caleb Williams. Like, he's probably gonna look like the Caleb Williams who was sold. Against a good, competent defense, go either way. It could be good, it could be bad. Nix has consistently been like whatever the best version of Tim Tebow is. He shows up in the first three quarters, it's ugly. Like, you can't you can't sneeze at, and this will go more towards my my team tiers, but you can't sneeze at the wins they've had this year. You can't sneeze at the fact that you can't sneeze at the fact that this KC Denver game, everyone's gonna pen that as like a good game. Everyone expects that game to be close. I'm not sure if people would feel the same way about Caleb Williams in the same exact position. I don't know if that's because of Sean Payton. That's probably more Sean Payton and the Broncos defense than Bo Nix and Caleb in particular. But I do think Bo Nix is a little more trustworthy than Caleb. Now, it does seem like Caleb and the Bears are getting in some sort of rhythm here, regardless. So
the really good thing is with Caleb, we will see in short order because they are now in playoff contention, and they play the 49ers, they play the Rams, they play the I don't think they play the Rams, but they play the Lions, they play the Packers. Like, they're going to be in a lot of big games to even where if they lose, but Caleb plays well, it will show you a lot. He's going to be in a lot of meaningful games. And speaking of Caleb Williams, we'll get to the next tier here, which is genuinely good QBs. I have Aaron Rodgers at 16, Caleb Williams at 15, Daniel Jones at 14.
Funny enough that Kyle just said he would trust Bo Nix more than Caleb Williams. I'm kind of the opposite. I think we've seen too much bad from Bo Nix this year against bad teams. Like, I'm pretty sure 5 of their wins are by a field goal or less, and 4 of them are against teams that have like 2 wins or less. So don't love that. They're kind of carried by their defense right now, whereas when Caleb wins games, a lot of it is to do with Caleb, like specifically Caleb. So not sure. I feel like that might be a split.
Big beard Brandon.
Sheesh. We got the Santa Claus.
He planned it this way. When it's tier time, he plans it this way. He's like, yo, and he's got the beard?
You know, that he's No Shave November bearding it up.
He's got the beard.
It's my winter beard since it's 30 degrees here in fucking Jacksonville right now.
All right. Golly. So Brandon, I sent it to the group chat. Welcome in Warner Brothas Podcast. We have Timmy, Kyle, and Brandon now.
Yeah.
We are halfway through my QB tiers, which have altered a little bit since last week when we did it, when they first originated themselves on this The Hype Reel. We were talking right now about the genuinely good quarterback tier, which was Aaron Rodgers, Caleb Williams, and Daniel Jones. And Timmy was talking about how he trusts Caleb Williams a little bit more than Bo Nix, because Kyle just said that he trusted Bo Nix a little bit more than Caleb Williams, to kind of fill you in on where we are. They feel like Michael Penix is a little bit too low. I'll let you talk about all this stuff after when we go through. We'll go through the rest of it, and then we'll have you pick your pieces through the rest of it there. But Timmy, did you have any more you wanted to say about the Caleb Williams and Bo Nix portion?
Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, no. Who are the other two? Is Aaron Rodgers and who?
Aaron Rodgers at 16 and Daniel Jones at 14.
Yeah, Daniel Jones. That was the one I wanted to bring up pre-pod. When he signed that big deal with New York, everybody clowned the Giants, and I do want to talk about the Giants at the end of this pod, so remind me on that. But what do you guys think? What contract does he get? It seems like with them trading for Sauce, they're kind of in a win-now situation, or at least they believe they're in a win-now situation. I think that comes with Daniel Jones re-signing with them. I'm going to look up his contract right now to see how it was a 1-year, $14 million deal, so he's going to need money next year. What do you guys think he gets paid? Do you think he makes another $100 million? Do you think he makes more? He's playing well enough to get a...
I think it'll be like the Baker contract.
I was about to say, I think it'll be the
3 years, 100,
Baker contract
in
2026, which will be what it is, which at that point would probably be 3 years, 115?
Yeah.
110, 115. I think he's probably looking at that with 70 guaranteed.
Not too far off with the Giants, but at least we've seen some damn good football.
I think that's probably what we're doing. But again, I think it's the same thing like we saw with Sam Darnold last year, where the next games really matter.
Yeah.
Because 7 turnovers over the last 2 games. I know 5 came against the Steelers, but 2 did come against the Falcons overseas. Is he going to continue to turn the ball over moving forward? If they get to the playoffs and they lose, is he the reason why they lose? Because people sell out on Jonathan Taylor, and now you do have Kyler Warren, you do have Michael Pittman, you do have Josh Downs, you have weapons. Are you able to get it done with these weapons or not? So I think at best he's going to be getting 3 years, 110 roughly, with $70 million guaranteed. I think at worst he gets franchise. I think at worst he doesn't get signed at all, would be the worst. But I think realistically, he might get franchised, but that'd be $46 million or something along those lines, which is tough to eat for a year, but it is a year.
Right.
You guys, Kyle and Brandon?
Yeah, so, I think the 3 year $100 million is probably kind of like in the ballpark. I wouldn't pay him any more than $35-40 million a year because, like Keenan said, I don't really know if this is going to be like a yearly thing from here on out. Like, I'm kind of still skeptical. Like, I feel like he could honestly just revert back to form whenever he was with the Giants. Like, I feel like that's certainly in the realm of possibilities where it could happen in the blink of an eye. And I am interested to see what happens when teams start putting 8-9 people in the box to stop JT, because that's going to happen. It's just a matter of when it happens. I would say if him or his agent comes back and say, hey, we want north of $40 million, I'd let him walk. Like, and just and kind of see what you can do from there, because I wouldn't pay him more than $40 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to speak about the money. Like, I agree with you guys. Give him short-term money. Whatever that actual number is will depend on how the rest of the season goes.
Yeah.
But if we're talking just right now and we're just talking about the tiers, the more I look at this, I really do think Bo and Caleb need to be in their own separate tier. Give me 17 on your new one, like up until where we are now.
17. Okay, so I'll give 19 there for a reason. So the tier is Flawed Talents. 19 is Tua, 18 is Trevor Lawrence, 17 is Bo Nix. Genuinely good QBs. 16 Rodgers, 15 Caleb Williams, 14 Daniel Jones.
So I like Caleb and Nix together. And the reason why I say that is I would actually, at this point, and I'm only going off what I see from last week. So I like comparing. I would actually have Daniel Jones moved up, probably into the top 12. And again, this is why I like tiers, because we got to go by like what's going on right now. I'd have Caleb and Nix together, and then in this Aaron Rodgers tier, probably have CJ Stroud just for right now, and I'd have Daniel Jones ahead of CJ Stroud and whatever that group might be. So let's segue.
Okay. We absolutely can segue, because the next one is star adjacent, Kyle. This was before was Caleb. This was CJ Stroud by himself at 12, I believe it was. It is CJ Stroud at 13 and Jordan Love at 12. Jordan Love has moved down a little bit from.
This is basically what I had last week. We're in agreement here. I would have Jordan Love out of the top 10 for sure. And it looks like you moved someone in particular that I was screaming to be a top 10 quarterback last week, who you actually had at 13.
And here's the thing, is I agreed with you, but I didn't have it because of the way that I was working these years. And I agree with more so what you were saying, and having it more of a snapshot of what today is. And then also, but still having an incorporation of, because John B's thing was Josh Allen, Daniel Jones. Not a conversation. I don't want to hear it. Don't want to have it. I'm not going to have it again. Like, no, I'm sorry. Josh Allen and Daniel Jones are not going to be next to each other. Just no, I can't do it. But I do get what you were saying, and after thinking about it, I did agree more.
His main argument was Drake May being in the top 5.
Yeah, no, I know, but that we talked to Drake May, and then it was really. He had a couple people that he was upset with, and we'll talk about those people again. Don't you worry, Kyle.
Can I?
You please.
I interrupt you. I was just gonna say I would move one person down out of their category, and that's Trevor Lawrence from the Flawed Talents to maybe 7 games left. I'd move him down to there. I'd put Spencer Rattler over him and
put him as the 33.
And Dylan Gabriel.
Jags fans, stand up.
Taking $55 million from my franchise. The audacity of that son of a bitch. Y'all haven't heard this in a week. In a long time, actually.
There is nothing better. There is nothing better than upset fans, and we've got one here on the pod. Welcome to the podcast, Brandon Big Beard Petty.
I do wonder, bro. Like, you're a Jags fan. You've watched him now for this is his 5th season, correct?
Yeah.
Fifth
season. Yeah.
Anytime I watch him, man, like especially if it's after a pick, especially if it's a turnover in the red zone, or just anytime something bad happens, he never actually looks mad. He just always kind of looks confused, and I'm like, what is going on in his? Yeah, exactly. He's always got a clueless look. I'm like, what's actually going on in his head as he's coming off the field? Because he never looks affected by a win or a loss or a turnover or a touchdown.
If I ever see him in public, I'm
shining moment,
the shit out of him. Straight up.
I mean, his shining moment is a trip, something that should have been a 8-yard sack into a touchdown. Like that, you couldn't get any more Trevor Lawrence, any more Jaguars than that. So yeah. I before you got on, Brandon, I was saying how I'm like just done with him overall as a starting QB, or more as a franchise QB than a starting.
Oh, I'm there with you. I said too.
One day. Yeah, like one day I could see like if all the stars aligned that he could probably make a deep playoff run because the talent is there, but all the stars have to align. I don't think he's going to have this resurgence like Darnold or Baker. I don't see it out of him.
But we don't know because we didn't see that out of Darnold, Geno, out of Baker. Well, you didn't see it out of any of these guys. We
saw fire out of them though. We saw fire out of them. This kid.
Yeah, we saw fire, but we didn't think. We saw Sam Darnold seeing ghosts, and we thought to ourselves, "That's not a starting quarterback again." And we haven't mentioned his name yet. So, like, I'm just saying, like, there's a possibility.
That's not true. People were still okay on Sam Darnold even after the ghost thing.
A couple.
People
we
still
were
like.
That's what I'm saying. I wasn't.
There were still people. I was actually thought Sam Darnold had a future somewhere, possibly. Difference is between him or Baker, any of that. They were nowhere near as hyped as Trevor Lawrence. It was a surprise when Baker was chosen number one. Like that was a debate on who was going to be number one.
Oh, for sure.
Trevor Lawrence, we were sold Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning. And again, even in their darkest times, even in Darnold and Baker's darkest times, we still saw competitiveness. Trevor Lawrence, I don't see any redeeming thing that's like this guy's a franchise QB, other than like he's mobile and has a good arm, and when it looks good, it looks great. Yeah.
100. No, I agree. I personally agree that I think Trevor Lawrence does not show the same fire. And I mean, he's even the way he's even spoken doesn't show the same fire as someone obviously like Baker, of course. And Sam Darnold obviously showed that he cared. I'm just saying I did not think at all that Sam Darnold was going to be a guy that within 2 years of when he's starting his first game for the Minnesota Vikings last year, we were going to be like, oh, that's a star level quarterback in the league. Absolutely.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, at some point I thought it could. No one thought that. I'm saying at one point, even during his dark times, I'm like, all right, he could land a starting job somewhere and have some success. Trevor Lawrence, I'm genuinely like, when's it ever going to happen for him? This QB whisperer was supposed to be what turns him around. He's still just as inconsistent. He still is just poor decisions, sailing balls. And again, the biggest concern with me just doesn't seem to have fire in his belly.
Yep. All right. I was going to say, for me, Sam Darnold, I did not think he was going to be a guy. So I'll just be more speaking for myself, and he's proved me completely wrong. So that's fine.
No, this Timmy, is more about T-Law. This is more about T-Law.
No, I know. I'm just saying Sam Darnold-wise, and Sam Darnold, we'll talk about him in a second because he's completely wrong. And then Trevor Lawrence, I think that there's enough talent there that he'll be able to do something at some point. How good will he be able to become? We'll see. But we'll see. Timmy, did you have any thoughts right there? We've talked about Star, Jason lately. Was our last one with Stroud at 13, Jordan Love at 12.
Let's just unmute myself there. I agree with Love needing to come out of the top 10. I know a lot of people would have had him top 10 preseason and even during this season.
I did.
Right now, it's not there. The supporting cast, wide receiver wise, isn't really there anymore. So like I can cut him a little slack, but he's not going to play any better going forward to get him into top 10. It's funny that Stroud is he 13 or 12?
13.
So he's damn near top 12, and we haven't seen him play in 2 weeks. It's kind of funny. Because at one point we had him a bit lower, I believe. I think the last time we had him lower, but they were looking terrible.
I've always had him within the top 13 to 14 at like a little worse for me. I've always had him there. But I mean, overall, I think that this group is pretty much these guys are kind of in lockstep together in a sense because they both came into the league at the same time. Obviously, Love didn't come in, but like they played really the same year. Both of them, their first year, especially towards the second, CJ Stroud's first half, Love's second half, took the league and like, oh wow, these guys are real genuine, like future maybe superstar quarterbacks. Each got a playoff win in their first year. Stroud got one again last year. Love did not, unfortunately for him. But I think that these guys are kind of a lot alike and a lot of the same. They need a lot around them to be successful as of this moment in time. But if you do put that around them, they can be very successful. Love's a little bit more inconsistent to me with that. I think that Stroud has more consistent when you have like everything around him. Like I think that the Packers would probably be a little bit better of a team. Like actually, I can't even say that. I don't think they would be.
I think all Stroud needs is an offensive line. Honestly.
No, Stroud needs an offensive line. That's where it's hard for me. Like Stroud 3, 13, 12. Like maybe would the Packers be better? I don't know. It's an interesting conversation.
I do think that they would be better with Stroud than Love. I do. Right now. And that's because they have a better offensive line. I think we've seen very good QB play from Stroud. We've seen really bad QB play from Love against bad competition. So,
I think they'd be more consistent with Stroud.
Yeah, I agree.
So next I have my star QBs list. And Kyle, this is one of the ones that has changed a little bit in the star QBs. And at 11, I needed to make room. I was not having 7 people on the same line. I needed to make room. So Dak moved down to 11. Dak is at 11. Justin Herbert's at 10, and Drake May's at 9.
This sounds closer to a list I would have had last week, minus Dak being out of the top 10. I probably would have had Dak in the top 10. What were the next two? Dak at 11.
Justin Herbert at 10 and Drake May at 9. I mean, last week I had May at 11. Last week I had May at 11. He just
you could convince me of all three being ahead, but I also got to hear everything else because I feel like you can make a case for all of them being top 8, honestly. So.
It's hard when you see the top 8. It's really difficult.
Sure.
I mean,
for sure.
Yeah.
But
I think they're good placed.
Brandon thinks they're good placed. Timmy, yourself?
Yeah.
I don't mind. I would be fine if somebody said Herbert over May, and I would be fine if somebody really liked Dak more. I mean,
you can make a case for all of them.
Yeah, you can definitely make a case. I feel like we're a little early on May. Like, don't get me wrong. He's an MVP candidate, and he's playing incredibly well, but this is like year 2. Like, we could have immense downfalls where we've seen damn good football from Dak, from Herbert for longer. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm reluctant to buy into the May hype right now.
It's tough. Some people you buy in, some people you don't. Because Jaden, we bought in super early last year. That was 100%. Year 1.
I think
CJ Stroud and Love, people bought in on year 1, me included.
I think
there's people you bought. Mahomes, obviously, we bought in Mahomes, but we bought into him.
Damn MVP.
5 games in, we're like, that's the best quarterback I've ever seen.
I think,
golly, I've never seen a guy like that. I watched Tom Brady play every week.
My problem with May being 9 is, if you gave most QBs this schedule with this roster, with this coaching, they would probably be pretty good. Maybe not as good as May, but they would probably be 70, 80% of May, and they wouldn't be in the MVP conversation at all. and they wouldn't be top 10 at all. So that's where I'm a little hesitant. They do have some great wins against the Bills, against the Bucks. Those are two awesome wins for them, and he played phenomenal. But
I cannot wait for the next edition of Tears to
I
talk
gotta
about
say,
this Patriots team.
I gotta say, like, my biggest thing with these tiers is they've at least got to be a snapshot of what's going on right now. And I've been like Mr. cautiously optimistic about the Pats, about Drake May. All that being said, 7 feels appropriate for me for Drake May. If we're talking going into week 11, 7 seems appropriate for Drake May right now. Right now. That doesn't mean I actually think that's what he is overall. But if we're talking through 11 weeks, what he did to Tampa, like some of those throws, that throw to Kyle Williams he had, I think, on 3rd and long, was like
that throw to Mac Hollins.
Yeah, that stuff Aaron Rodgers would do in his prime. And Drake's like completely eliminated all the stuff I thought would plague Drake May, which was like decision making mostly and trying to like show off his arm talent. He looks like he's in year 8 right now. And I was completely not expecting that. The poise he's playing with is kind of scary, to be honest with you, because that was not expecting.
The reason why I don't have him higher is because there isn't, with these next 8 quarterbacks, you can look to sustained excellence throughout their tenure. You've looked at, for most everyone but one person, playoff success as well throughout their tenure, which this is where the addition of maybe May's playing a touch better now than some of these quarterbacks, but also I've seen these other quarterbacks do it at a higher level against better opponents and competition more consistently, which is why he's at 9. But like, again, I get what you're saying, and I don't think like that's where I don't have it. Last week, we're going.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna bring up like the best part about this whole Drake May thing is I remember when Pat Mahomes was popping off that first year, you were you were not ready to buy in at all. Even like through like about this point in the year, you were like, yeah, you know what? Fuck that guy. You kind of were not ready to buy in at all in Pat Mahomes when he was killing shit.
Nope. I wasn't with Aaron Rodgers either. You want to know why? When you threaten the GOAT, I have a disdain for you until you do it for a while. That's what happens. When I hear it might be better than Brady. Nope. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. I'm not hearing it. Rodgers, after he wins the MVP, wins the Super Bowl, gets that MVP season, best quarterback I've ever seen. What? There's a guy in New England. Nope. Not happening. So it's the same thing with Mahomes. Man, we've never seen a guy like this. We've never seen a guy who can play. Nope, not happening. Not doing it. But last week, this was named NFC number 1 because it was 5 NFC quarterbacks. It is now named MVP caliber. Jared Goff is 8. Sam Darnold is 7. Baker Mayfield is 6. Jalen Hurts is 5. Lamar Jackson is 4.
Oh, there goes Kyle.
And here we go.
I know exactly what that's for because I know what he's thinking.
Here's fine.
Come on now.
What we're doing.
Come on now. I'll let them go.
Until he wins another Super Bowl and wins another Super Bowl MVP, and you're going to be like, oh, man, what happened again? Jalen Hurts was great in the playoffs again.
Give any one of these quarterbacks half a field the entire Super Bowl. They can win that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All right. I'll break the ice.
Feel free. That's fine. I'm not changing it. I'm not stepping off it. I don't care. This is not just for only this season he's playing. So he played a bad game. He didn't play a great game last week. Still, overall stats look great. Look at his stats.
I think Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. I think people love the shit on Jalen Hurts. Like I just think
16 touchdowns and 1 pick this year. Never seen it.
Like I think he's very good. I think he's been very good this year. I would move him down, but I would probably put Baker ahead of him. Like that's just me because of what Baker's been working with for majority of the year, especially with Mike Evans being out, Ibuka was out. Not to discount what Hurts has done because I think he has been good this year. I just think it's more so inconsistency play calling wise, and just a lack of there's kind of like how Kellen Moore just really kind of like diversified that offense. Like I feel like the offense is very predictable this year for whatever reason. I put Mayfield at 5, Hurts at 6. I don't really think that you could put Goff or Darnold over Hurts. Like Darnold's been great this year. Goff has been great this year. I think those two guys are more so of a byproduct of what they have around them. I don't necessarily know if Sam Darnold has as much success without JSN and without a great running game and a defense. Same thing with Goff. So I'm fine with Goff at 8, Darnold at 7. Like I said, I'd put Hurts at 6, Mayfield at 5, and then Lamar I'm fine with at 4.
All right. Timmy, I'd love to hear.
Can you give me the order again, the numbers?
Jared Goff at 8, Sam Darnold at 7, Baker Mayfield at 6, Jalen Hurts at 5, Lamar Jackson at 4.
I think I definitely disagree with what Brandon said. I would definitely take Baker over Hurts. I'm trying to...
Like, Brandon had Baker over Hurts.
That's what I just said. Did I not say that?
Oh, sorry. I thought you said disagree. My bad.
No, I definitely agree with what Brandon said.
I thought you said definitely disagree, and I was like, wait.
Would take
my
Baker.
bad. My bad. Sorry.
Let's let Kyle go. I wanna research something real quick and come back to him.
Okay. Feel free.
Can I almost want credit for this tier list because my biggest gripes, like you had Lamar at 3. I said get Lamar out of there. Hurts obviously would be our big debate, but I mean Baker's definitely going to be ahead of Hurts. Like I think that's kind of almost indisputable through 10 weeks. Baker's been the better quarterback compared to Jalen Hurts. Just out of those two, whether it's one spot ahead, I don't care, but he's got to be ahead. TD. So the three of us are in lockstep there.
That's fine.
Goff's always an interesting one because when he looks bad, it's easy to blame him compared to some of these other quarterbacks. But when he looks good, it looks like fucking greatest show on turf type good. You know what I mean? So yeah. Goff's always a hard one for me to evaluate. Man, you got to put – you almost could put Darnold at, again, this is just 10 weeks. I'm not saying in general. I would not be mad at Darnold and maybe one Lamar Jackson switching spots right now. Not all the way up at 4 necessarily, but I would not be mad at some sort of order that would say let's go with like Hurts at 6, then Darnold, then Baker, and then or even Lamar at 6 and then Hurts at 7, but Darnold and Baker in the top 5. I would not be mad at that. We're talking about someone in Sam Darnold up to this point right now, including last season, is 21-5. That's not an accident at this point, right? Nope. We got to give him his props there. 52 touchdowns through this point, 52 touchdowns to 18 picks. I mean, come on. Again, you put a gun in my head. I'm probably taking Jalen Hurts. I'm taking Lamar. I'm taking Baker. I'm taking them over Darnold, gun in my head right now. But who's playing the best through 10 weeks? Yeah, Darnold's in the top 5. And the Seahawks are in the top 5 too. So in large part because of him, in most part because of him, I would say, him and Mike McDonald as a tandem there. So I wouldn't be mad at him in the top 5. I think 7. You have Darnold at 7, correct?
7. Yep.
And he was 13 last week. So I want to know like what moved him up 6 spots in this last week because nothing's really changed.
What moved him up 6 spots was I seeing him again torch and then watching Jordan Love struggle. Herbert was fine. Dak didn't play. Stroud didn't play. Goff was very good as well. But I felt looking through, it was between 7 and 8 where I wanted. I felt Goff was fine at 8. I liked him at 8. But it was between really those two. But just seeing the way Sam Darnold was playing, and the reason why I had him at 13 last week was I was having it more of a, yes, Sam Darnold has been playing great. And if I was to draft a quarterback into a situation, he would probably be around the 13th quarterback I would take, because if I could put the situation around him, I'd rather have CJ Stroud than Sam Darnold. But in talking with you guys about obviously it being a midseason tier list, I should incorporate more of what's happening this season. That's why. But like right now, if you told me to draft a team for this coming year and I got to build the team around it, I would draft C.J. Stroud before Sam Darnold. In my personal opinion, if someone took Sam, cool. That is cool. But that's why I had him at 13 last week and CJ was at 12, because that's always how I mentally do these things. But with it being a mid-season, I thought that you were right and John B was right, and you guys were right in talking about being more of a little bit of what's going on this year. So that was a change. And then and with that, Kyle, and then also this guy played really well this week, one guy played really bad and one guy didn't play. And I would have this guy be my MVP right now. I have the elites as Allen 3, Mahomes 2, Stafford 1, because I'd have Stafford be my MVP.
I want residuals. Because this sounds more like my list.
Because Stafford's MVP.
Because not much change from last week to this week as far as QB play.
Josh Allen got blown out by the Dolphins. The Chiefs did not play, and Stafford cooked again.
But I'm saying before that, Stafford was outplaying Josh Allen like without a doubt.
Yeah, but Josh Allen was also coming off a win against the Chiefs, where he played he made one of his best games of his career. And then again, also as I talk, and no, I was at home. But also I talked to you about the fact of more of a snapshot of this year. I mean, before he was at 4 or 5. Sorry, he was at 5. I was talking about like it was more of a snapshot of this year. I literally, if you want that credit, I just want my CC.
I just want my CC.
I've given you guys credit multiple times by saying we're talking about that. I don't know what else, but not specifically in where I'm placing these people. No, I place these people because that's where I choose to place these people.
Yeah, Keenan, I'm going to agree with you on this. I think Stafford is playing like the best quarterback in the NFL right now. To be honest with you, I really don't know if there's too much of a debate between him and Mahomes. Like, I think if the season were to end today, I think there's a clear-cut MVP, and I think it's Matthew Stafford. So I agree with you on that. I think Matthew Stafford would get majority of the MVP votes. So I agree with him being at number 1. Mahomes at number 2, I'm fine with. Allen at 3, I'm fine with because of what happened in Miami, obviously, this past weekend. Went out and threw up a dud. I don't think in terms of production-wise and how these guys have been playing, I don't think you could put anybody over Matthew Stafford right now. And he's first in touchdowns. He's 4th in yards. He's top 5 in QBR. He's only thrown 2 picks on the year. He's completed 67% of his passes. Like,
Teddy, you're 100% correct. My thing is Keenan just last week had Stafford at 5 behind Jalen Hurts.
I can't get on that. I can't get behind that. Stafford
was
MVP.
And then
that's why I want my CC on this list.
And I said after that, if you guys wanted to switch that I'd completely understand. We had this conversation. Again, watch it. We had this conversation. I completely said I would understand if you would want to switch that, and I would have no problems with switching that whatsoever. And do not argue you guys on that at all. I more argued on Jalen Hurts being ahead of Dak Prescott. That was the argument I was having with Jalen Hurts. It wasn't Stafford. And then you said I would have Lamar down and move Stafford up to the top 3. And I said, you know what? I 100% understand that because of the way since Lamar hasn't played. We had this conversation. So
But now you made it official.
Yeah, I made it official. But before we had the conversation, and I completely agreed with what you guys were saying because you guys made valid points. This is a podcast. We're good. No dictatorship over here. But yeah, Timmy, you have any thoughts on this whole list?
No, not really. Stafford, I've been on the MVP train for Stafford now for about a month. I do think he wins it. The last 20 touchdowns he's thrown, he has not thrown a pick. He's extremely efficient. They get to the goal line and they're throwing it. So I think statistically he's going to be ahead of everybody and he's just going to be the MVP. Here's a question.
So, Timmy's probably going to ask the same question I was going to ask. Go on, ask it, please.
I doubt it. Who's the All-Pro this year?
Oh, nope. It wasn't the same question I was going to ask. I don't know if they're going to start doing that now where it's like, oh, we're going to make it to like where it's clear cut MVP. Because like, if you had to give me a second guy at this point, I would probably say between Sam Darnold or Drake May. If you gave me a second guy, if you had to give me someone who's not Matthew Stafford, Baker after the loss, as of this moment, I'm not sure if I'd put him over Drake May or Sam Darnold, but I think Baker would be obviously within the conversation with Mahomes.
Than New England. It's like not.
Yeah, but New England has 2 more wins, and obviously they just played head to head. Do you get
He'd
the
be in that
head-to-head
conversation, though. I'm saying if you got to give me.
Oh yeah, no, 100%, 100%.
Second team All Pro. I think they'd be in that mix.
I think if you had a first team All Pro and it was not the MVP in Stafford, I would probably say it would be Drake May as of right now would win it, and I would lean Drake May. But if you wanted somebody else in that spot of Darnold, Baker, I would understand.
Yeah, it's probably for sure. I mean, Stafford's going to lock down that one spot. Yeah, I do think it's a good chance we end up with Drake May at that second team All Pro. It's crazy to say.
And my question is this. Are you having Stafford as MVP because he feels the MVP, or do you think that Jonathan Taylor should be the MVP and you're having Stafford thinking he's going to win it because he's a quarterback?
Mainly the quarterback thing, because the only way I see Jonathan Taylor winning an MVP is if they are 14 wins. He has 2,200 yards and 30-something touchdowns. He's already like over halfway to accomplishing that. He's got 7 games left to do it. So I don't know if he'll get all the way there, is my thing. He is potentially right now the most valuable player for a team. Like they completely turned around this team, and a lot of it is on the back of Jonathan Taylor. I think you take Jonathan Taylor off the Colts, they're still okay. They're not. I think if you take Stafford off the Rams, they're not a top seed. I don't think they would be. Like if you put Mac Jones on the Colts, it wouldn't even be close.
I think if you were to, and I think Mac Jones is pretty much like league average. Like I think like he's a solid guy.
Right,
so like if you replace, and if you replace Jonathan Taylor with like Jaylen Warren, like
I still think he would be good. I don't think he would be. Obviously,
I think the Colts would be probably 6-4.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe not 8-2. But I think they'd probably be like 6-4ish, rather than 8-2. So I would lean Stafford, but you could argue there because like the Falcons game, obviously, like him busting that 83-yarder was kind of like the pivotal point. But how much more do you have to put on Daniel Jones' shoulders, and how much you trust Daniel Jones? So it's an interesting conversation to have. Brandon, Kyle, would you have Jonathan Taylor or Matt Stafford as your guys' MVP right now? If you had the vote, not like what you think others would.
I'd have to put Matt Stafford. Like, because to Timmy's, like Timmy said, it's so hard for a running back to win. I think JT has a really strong case, and I do agree with the whole notion that I think there's only maybe 3 or 4 running backs that if you put them on the Colts that you get the same amount of production, and that's probably your Bijans of the world, your Jahmyr Gibbs, guys like that. I mean, Stafford, like I would give it to Stafford because not only the production, but just how much he means to that team. Because like you said, if you put Mac Jones there, if you put Trevor Lawrence there, if you put, whoever else, like there's not many guys that are going to fit that offense as well as Matt Stafford does. And Matt Stafford has full command of that offense. Like I think in terms of an offensive fit, there's no better quarterback in the league for a McVay offense. Like I think he's the perfect guy that you need. And I think if it was anybody else there, they wouldn't be 7-2, and I don't think that they'd be nearly as successful as what they are. I could obviously make a case for JT. I just think the quarterback notion too. I think with voters kind of having that ingrained in their mind, like quarterback's the most important position. I do think Jonathan Taylor would have to have like a LaDainian Tomlinson kind of season. I think he'd have to have like Timmy said, 30 touchdowns. Like, I think even if he finished with 1,700 rushing yards and 23 rushing touchdowns, like great season, but I don't think that's enough.
He needs to break a record. He needs to break a record while the Colts are most likely competing for the 1 seed or the same record as the 1 seed. Like if say the Patriots by a tiebreaker at 13-4, the Colts are 13-4, and they got the 1 seed or something like that, then and Jonathan Taylor either broke the yards record or broke the touchdown record. Yes, and especially if he did it in 16 games, like if he could do it in 16, even though he plays the 17, just so you don't have that added of, oh, well, he had the extra game kind of thing. I think like for a running back to get it, I think you have to break a record to really do it, or come within this close, like Adrian Peterson did, like this close. Adrian Peterson was 8 yards away.
That's where I have a problem with this.
Yeah, he's nasty. What's up, Kyle?
That's where I have a problem with this award, though. I think each one of these guys, like coming out of that Germany game, I would have said Jonathan Taylor, and then after you see what Stafford does against the Niners on Sunday, to me it's neck and neck, right? You can make a case either way, but my thing is, just individually, who's been the best player this season? It's probably been Jonathan Taylor. He has been dominant, right? Like he's been unbelievable. Not that Stafford hasn't, but Jonathan Taylor in this league as a running back to be carrying the Colts the way he is, right? And I want to give Daniel Jones his credit too. Daniel Jones has far exceeded most people's expectations, I would say, if not everyone's expectations. But you got Jonathan Taylor, like for sure getting 2 touchdowns a week, for sure breaking at least a 40-yard run each week, and is unstoppable. Looks like a force of nature. Reminds me of the Adrian Peterson 2K season. He's just the best player. And, Stafford's right there too. But, if you ask me in week 18, it's continuing this trend, like who's the most memorable player, to me, that's got to go for something. And that's why I kind of hate the MVP award, because it should not be a best quarterback award. And that's not to say this isn't like 2 years ago when Lamar, or 3 years ago, the year the Niners made it against the Chiefs, where Lamar stole it in like week 16 or 17 because he beat the Niners. Like, I hated that. I adamantly believe that it was either McCaffrey or maybe Cup. McCaffrey, and there was a receiver who had a great year later.
No, it was McCaffrey that year. Cup was the year before when they won when the Rams won it all. But
for sure. I think there was another receiver though.
It was McCaffrey that year, because that was the year that Lamar won it because they dog walked the 49ers in like week
on
16.
Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, it was like they dog walked the 49ers. It seemed
like there was another position player who was like, yeah, for sure. It seemed like there was another position player that year. But point being, like, that year for sure, a running back or someone other than a quarterback should have won it. I didn't like that we just gave it to Lamar. Yes, that's right.
Tyreek Hill had a really good, he faded off towards the end, which also was another thing for him. But he was like on a 2K pace, and because people were coming like, oh, he's even on better pace than what Cooper Kupp was the year prior.
Right. That's right. And this year in particular, Jonathan Taylor again. I mean, like, what more would you have to do to win MVP? And this is obviously just through 10 weeks. But man, if he keeps this pace up, I don't know. It's almost disrespectful to not give him MVP. If this dude has 30 touchdowns and over 2K, like, if that's not the definition of an MVP year, Keenan, that'd be like, in the NBA, that'd be like averaging 40 on top of like 15 rebounds in the NBA. Like, if you had that and 57 wins, and then the other person had 60, but a more conventional MVP year, you'd be like, all right, what more does that guy with 40 and 15 and 57 wins have to do?
You mean that's like Jokic last year compared to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander winning it?
To some degree.
I'm just saying you had. Like Shai played great, but they had a 68-win team, and then you had Jokic who put up historic numbers. And who did you, as you said last year when you thought Jokic should win it? Who do you remember more during the regular season? The 60-20, the kind of thing.
And for that to be all the way applicable here would be, the Rams kind of win out. They don't lose another game this season.
Yeah.
Then you have a legit debate here. But if it's if Stafford continues playing the way he is, and then maybe they lose a few more games, all right, which they might because it's a tough division. They'll probably play a tougher schedule. Fine, but I just think through 10 weeks, Jonathan Taylor's got as much of a debate as Stafford. I wouldn't be mad if Stafford won, but man, Jonathan Taylor's having like short list running back season right now. Like,
yeah, no, like he's more yards right now than Saquon had through 10 games last year, and we were talking about like Saquon every single week, and he's got 7 more touchdowns. So like,
there you go.
So, and we were talking about Saquon, and like Saquon was obviously one of the leaders of the MVP talk, but obviously Lamar, 41 touchdowns, 4 picks last year. Josh Allen had a great year too, and Josh Allen kind of won it because people weren't expecting the Bills to be the same. But overall, good tiers list, good conversation, good fun.
Love it.
We have Thursday night football with the New York Football Jets heading to New England to take on the New England Patriots. It's last I looked, it was an 11.5-point spread. This is one of the games that scare me a hair. Just a hair of the 3 games in 12 days.
12.5 now.
So 12.5 now? Okay, the 3 games in 12 days coming off a big win, and now you got to go play the Jets. But the Jets also... But I've got this game... Let me get my paper out so I can write this down. I got this game about 25-9, New England. And it's because New England stops the run better than anybody else in the league. And that means Justin Fields has to drop back in pass. Yep. Night.
With no Garrett Wilson.
Night.
On prime time.
I know we have no on prime time, and I know we have no Ramondre, but is that really that bad of a thing when we have more Travion? Okay, 25-9 New England.
I can at least give the Jets a little bit of gusto. I don't know what you want to call it. I don't think they scored 9. I think, it takes one play to get a field goal. It takes one defensive play to put them in scoring position. So I'll say I do like the 25. So I'll say 24 for New England. I feel like that's a prime New England score. 24-15. Give it a little bit closer. I'll let them cover. Garbage time cover, though.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah, I think this is going to be kind of like a snooze fest from like the opening kickoff until the very end. Like I think it's going to be one of those games where New England gets up like 10 points early, and then they just kind of don't look back. I'm kind of predicting a blowout. I'm thinking along the lines of New England 31, the Jets 13. I could probably give the Jets 10 points, but I'm going to give them a couple field goals in this game.
If what Brandon Petty says actually happens, then we're going to get even more Drake May MVP talk. And then it'll be a Stafford, Jonathan Taylor, Drake May sort of conversation, which people are already trying to make happen, which kind of deserve. But if they blow out the Jets and it's like a Drake May 3 touchdown, maybe 40 yards rushing type of game, yeah, you're gonna have some talks. You're gonna have some talks from
Kyle, so here's
podcast with MVP.
Go on, and then I'll talk about Drake May MVP real quick, and then we'll be done here.
Yeah, no, my score, it was gonna be 24-12 with a disgusting cover from the Jets, but y'all said no Garrett Wilson, so it's gonna be 24-10. I see it exactly how Tim and Keenan see it. Just a boring game that New England's just happy to get away with, and we get a win. But if it's not that, it's going to be what Brandon said, because I don't see a world where it's a close game, even though it's divisional, even though it's a short week, even though it's the Jets. It's either a blowout or it's going to be this boring game we're talking about.
Even though it's Thursday night, we've seen some crazy Thursday night games. A lot of upsets.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. And actually, the wild card here, if we're talking about just making it a game, is how good of a coach is Aaron Glenn actually? Because, I know Mike Vrabel's going to have his team prepared. And I think Aaron Glenn's okay. we just don't. I mean, it's the Jets. We don't really know what the hell he's dealing with here, and he's got Justin Fields. So, but like Keenan said, the fact that we're going to see him drop back, Brees probably is not going to get off. That's a recipe.
Sean Tucker is the first running back to go for over 50 yards against the Patriots. Took Sean Tucker to do it. Played James Cook as well. They played also Bijan Robinson, by the way. So here's the thing. We're talking about the Drake May MVP train. And so we got the Jets primetime. We got the Bengals next week. That's just stats. That's just a stat game. And then we
like and then we got the shootout with Joe Flacco.
The shootout with Joe Flacco. That's just a stat game. That's all they need that for. Yeah. And then we got the Giants on Monday Night Football. Another primetime game. Then a bye.
Jameis.
Then against possibly against Jameis, maybe against
Dart. That'll be Dart. That's like
and then a bye. And then we've got Buffalo and Baltimore. We go 1-1 against that with Drake May playing very well in both those games, especially at Baltimore. If you get a win over Baltimore,
they ain't going 1-1.
And no, you're right. They're going 2-0.
No, they'd go on 2. It would be fine if they split with the Bills. Nobody would say that's crazy. And Baltimore,
that's why they're going to go beat the brakes off of Lamar and the company.
Baltimore's playing for seeding, so they're trying to not be a 4 seed coming in here. So I would pick them 0-2 there.
Yeah, it'll be cute when they're 2-0 and they go finish the year 15-2. Can't wait.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's drinking the Kool-Aid. He's drinking a little bit more.
Hey, listen, I've been drinking the Kool-Aid since the preseason. What do you mean? I've just been getting drunk on the Kool-Aid now. What are you kidding me?
Like
all I got to say is
the
Warner Brothas Podcast. Right the Warner Brothas Podcast will be insufferable. Will be insufferable if the Patriots win it all. Oh boy.
I've somehow been tamed this entire year. I thought that for some reason I thought that said Raising Cane's on it. I don't know if that makes me obese or what, but I thought
I got a trash can with a Jaguars logo on it if y'all want to see it.
I'm just saying right now, Kyle, you have been. The year you were not tame was the year we got Cam, and I was tame.
That makes no sense. Well, preseason,
the day after. But no,
not week 6. Not week 6.
I am going to be insufferable if the Patriots win it all.
The last time, truly, and we don't want to talk about the Patriots this much. People probably tune out, but the last time I was truly insufferable after the Brady era was the week we beat Buffalo in that win game when Mac Jones had like one completed pass. And
we were 8-3. I think we're the 1 seed after that game.
I'm like, we're back. I'm like, that's a Belichick game right there. We're back. Speaking of Belichick, I was about to talk about the Patriots, but speaking of Belichick, Tim, New York Giants, Brian Dable fired. Belichick will probably be a candidate in the offseason.
This is what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, what would you like to see your team do in their offseason? We're going to get Jameis Winston this week. That's a start.
We've already heard Jameis is the starter, which I'm a fan of. I'm much more a fan of them saying, hey, we're going to Jameis than, hey, we're going to Russ. I would lose my mind if we went to Russ. The fact that Joe Shane is still our GM, that pisses me right off. He is more than 50% of the reason why this franchise has been ass for the last 5 years. Kyle, what was your friend's name? I want to call this man out. You said you had a friend that thought I was too hard on the Giants.
Oh, Lux. He's like, Lux. Yeah, he's like telling me to back off.
I am not hard enough on the Giants, okay? All of these games, this team should be like 500 right now. We should be almost above 500 right now, and they have lost so many games with 10-point leads and 4 minutes left in the game, and they just can't close a goddamn box if they tried. So Dable should have been fired. I understand. He's the head of the whole thing, so we fired Dable. Shane Bowen, get that man out of here 2 months ago. This defense is a wreck, and it's one of the most expensive in the league. Joe Shane, you should have been fired when you fucking let Saquon walk and you signed Daniel Jones to a big deal. Everything about this it's okay because I can reset next year on a new coaching staff. What I would like for a coaching staff is Steve Spagnuolo. Bring in a defensive guy. Let's get the defense playing right, and let's just have a good offensive coordinator come in and do what we did this year. I think the offense looked very good this year, very competitive this year. We just need the defense to play okay, and they have the talent to do it. So I think Spagnuolo is my favorite if he does want it. I guess he's got ties with New Jersey, so maybe he comes home. I don't even know if I would want Belichick. He's kind of got this shit show
Be
of a
Jordan
season.
Hudson as the head coach.
Yeah, honestly, the new GM, Jordan Hudson and Bill Belichick combo. That was my rant. Lux, I am not hard enough on the Giants. I'll tell you that right now, and I'm gonna keep doing it until they're good, and it'll probably be the next 20 years of my life.
Shouts to Lux, first of all. Lux sending over some gear. He's a big fan of the podcast. Gave you a big shout out, Keenan. So I think he threw in some gear for you as well.
I appreciate it. Shout out to Lux.
So
Loaded
Tim,
Lux?
Loaded Lux. Loaded Lux. Tim, you're saying Spags is head coach?
Yes, sir. Bring him in as a head coach, and then we get a defensive themed coach or defensive themed team. Where defense is first, and we're going to try to win some lower scoring games. With Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, Cam Scatterbo, Theo Johnson, whatever they draft in this year's draft, they're going to have a higher pick. You can't tell me that doesn't win 10 games. So, yeah, that's what I would like to see.
This should be a playoff team. In some world, this should be a playoff team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be truly bringing Spags home because he was the DC on the 2 Giants Super Bowl teams against the beloved Pats. But that'd be interesting as head coach because I think he's been a head coach. I think he's been a head coach somewhere and it didn't go well. It would be cool just to have him back in the Giants organization altogether. I have heard that maybe the reason why they didn't fire the GM yet is because the owner's having health issues and that, his time will come in the offseason. So, is there anyone you'd like to see as the GM replacement if and when that time comes?
I don't have I haven't done any research on GMs, to be honest. A lot of the times GMs are like assistant presidents and stuff like that just get promoted all the way up to GM. So sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I don't have a lot with GM. I don't know if that's the case because he's the one leading the search for coaches. He's the one leading the charge on hiring the next head coach. I don't think they would say, go ahead and do that if you're going to be here, if you're not going to be here next year. John Mara, you did say he has health issues. Yeah, he has, not sure what type of cancer, but they just detected it. They actually just sold a minority stake to some other very wealthy family. So maybe that's the transition plan is into new ownership in the future. If Joe Shane is the GM next year, I'll probably be rooting for another team just for next year. I'm going to take a 1-year hiatus until he gets
take
fired.
A gap year.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to take a gap year. I'm going to come back when my mental's right. And then we'll figure it out cuz
we'll find you a CFL team.
Yeah. Fuck it. I'm taking a year off of the NFL, not just the Giants.
Alrighty. Well,
I'll give you the Montreal team.
All I have to say is that Lil Wayne has has a very famous mixtape, No Ceilings, song called Banned from TV. Smoke weed, talk ish like Lane Kiffin, whole country in recession, but Wayne different. It's the next coach of the Giants. Lane Kiffin.
No, he's coming to the Florida Gators. No.
I don't think Lane's ever coming back to the NFL. His NFL tenure was
hey, he's just trying to pair back up with Jackson Dart.
I was going to say, yeah, he'd be reunited.
Be reunited. Anyways, but
he's got a lifetime contract with Ole Miss, right?
He's good.
He said,
Brandon's like, nope, not happening.
Nah, he's got a lifetime contract with UF. That's what he's got.
I love it. All right. Well, we got our predictions in. We got a QB list, tiers list. Love it. We talked a little bit of Nico. Might just get hit with the Nico. Overall, good pod, boys. Good pod, boys.
short little fact. I learned this today.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence.
Let's leave on this.
Trevor Lawrence has a no trade clause. I don't know what the hell he did to earn a no trade clause, but this man can't even get out of Trevor Lawrence if they wanted to, because he could be like, "Nah, I'll take my 275. Thanks."
Fuck
Trevor.
me.
Billy.
Oh, William Trevor Lawrence.
I was gonna say that's Bill Lawrence. He's back to Bill Lawrence. Bill Lawrence trade clause.
Will Lawrence. Willie Lawrence.
William Trevor Lawrence.
Will Lawrence.
Dickie
trade
Lawrence.
clause. No,
even though his name's not.
I don't know
Richard.
what's worse, that or Bradley Beal. No trade clause. Like, whatever you do.
Bradley
Fuck
Beal
it,
fractured his hip, which is the
I'd
oldest
take
thing.
Bradley
Yeah, I was gonna say
Beal
out
at
for the
QB.
season. Unfortunate.
Fuck it.
God.
55 mil for a bag of smashed ass back there, quarterback.
Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, y'all should have seen me on Sunday. Real quick, before we get out of here, y'all should have seen me on Sunday. Woo-hoo, I was on one.
You checked out of football. You said, I'm done.
Up 29-10 in the fourth, and you're like, we're doing pretty good. Check back
I told
in 20
everybody. I
minutes.
almost got kicked out of the spot. I told everybody after Houston scored, I said, watch, it's going to happen. And the people didn't want to believe me. And it happened.
You got kicked out?
And now I'm the bad guy. Yeah, I got kicked out.
Were you screaming and yelling too much? Or like, what was did you threaten
I took
lives?
my shirt off like Antonio Brown. No, I didn't do that.
Brandon tried to dive through the TV in a fit of rage. He wanted to tackle the TV.
I did. I was like, because I have a Trevor Lawrence jersey, and I was like, man, I'm burning this motherfucker. And I yelled it, and the bartender didn't like that. And I was like, man, the fucking Jags suck. And they were like, sir, you need to leave. I'm like, all right.
You're like, maybe.
You should have lit the jersey on fire and stayed true to
She had a Jets jersey on, so I feel bad for her.
Oh, man, yeah.
Like,
that's poverty. That's true poverty right there. To have a
how
Jets
are you
jersey
going to tell
on.
me how to cheer for a team when you got nothing to cheer for?
I gotta say this.
New
My
York
favorite
City
part of our group
respects my
chat.
game like Joe Namath.
My favorite part of our group chat this year has been Brandon's damn near weekly tirade of saying he's done with football.
Well, yeah, because it's been a mixture between Florida and the Jags, and one team every week is going to lose. It's going to be between a tough game against Georgia to this. It's been tough. KC and Texas was in the same week, though. I want to say, if I remember correctly, the Kansas City win and the Texas. So like he was all in on football that week.
The Georgia loss was enough to just kill me for the year. 85% of my hatred for football this year stems from the University of Florida. The other 15% is from Jacksonville, because I don't have enough capacity to let them continue to ruin my Sundays. By Bill Lawrence.
Well, this was the Warner Brothas Podcast with Kyle, a feature track from Brandon today. He came in halfway through, but we appreciate Big Beard himself, the James Harden himself, and then we've got none other than, of course, Timmy. We appreciate all of you guys. Like, subscribe, comment on YouTube, on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all at Warner Brothas Podcast. We appreciate all of you guys, and we'll be seeing you guys again very soon.